Thanks for watching the NCWLIFE channel Spotlight on Business. I'm Eric Granstrom. I am in a device that is supposed to help with rehab. That's why we're here today at Dr. Wayne Latimer's integrative approach to rehab here on South Mission in Wenatchee. We're going to find out about if you've been involved in a car accident, if you've been hurt at work, or if you just have pain, how you can come to one-stop shop right here and get some help. It's on this edition of the Spotlight on Business.
Dr. Wayne Latimer is as homegrown as it gets. He says he did the big city life and found his way back and settled in the Wenatchee Valley once again.
When you get married and start having a family, you always want to come back to someplace that you know is safe and a great place to raise your family. So Wenatchee was our first choice, so we popped back here. In my last practice, I would drive by here every day on the way home, and I noticed it was just a big, empty, vacant building. It's pretty iconic. Everybody knows where it is. Everybody knows what it was. But it was vacant for 4 or 5 years. So every time I drove by, I kept thinking, man, that'd be a great place for a rehab clinic. Man, that'd be a great place for a rehab clinic. So I stopped and called them one day, and they said, oh, yeah, it's vacant. So we worked out a 20-year deal. And so I came in, immediately started remodeling. It's been 7 years that we've been here, and I'm just now finishing the inside. And then we'll start on the outside more aggressively here in the near future.
Dr. Latimer's approach to chiropractics has developed with a variety of influences, all with a goal to provide combination care.
Well, when I graduated chiropractic college, I was highly influenced by Terrell Owens playing in the Super Bowl for the Eagles, who had just had a reconstruction of his ankle. And everybody said, oh, he can't play, he can't play, he can play. And then not only did he go out and play, he did very, very well. He gave all the credit to his chiropractic sports physician, and that stunned me. And he talked a little bit more about that, but he actually went to a certified chiropractic sports physician instead of a physical therapist or some of the other guys. And he saw a lot of people, I'm sure, but he gave all the credit to that guy because he was doing a variety of services and a combination of care. And that really struck me, and I said, I want to be that guy. And so right after chiropractic college, I went to work for the Sports Med and Rehab Clinic in Vancouver and spent 8 years there working my way up from a line, a new guy right to all the way up to a clinic director at the end. And then I said, it's time to start my own clinic. I need to do this. And it was a combination care clinic, physical therapist, it had a medical doctor, it had chiropractors, and occupational therapists. And I took that and I built on that and said, the results are so fantastic for people. It's not just one facet of the healthcare industry, it's all of them combined together.
Integrative Rehab's location is fitting because it's a one-stop shop for care and therapy. From whiplash trauma to sports injuries and accidents, Dr. Latimer has assembled a team that can handle it all.
Yeah, I thought about calling it the body shop several times. So we, over the years, have collected a fabulous base of professionals to help us out. So we have a couple of massage therapists, we have an acupuncturist, we have a physical therapist that comes in and helps us out. And we have a lot of medical docs that we work with. We work with all the surgeons in the valley. We get a lot of post-accident trauma from falling off ladders, tractor rollovers, car accidents, as well as just the regular stuff, slip and falls in the garage, bending over to pick up a kid, all the stuff that people have, whether it's little or major. I just feel like we're more equipped to give a full spectrum approach. If you need a little bit, we can do a little bit. If you need a lot, we can do it all in one spot. You don't have to go to 5 different clinics to get all the care that you're legally entitled to. You can do it in one spot. So we love all the clinics, medical doctors, chiropractors, physical therapists, all the guys in this valley. We just decided to combine it into one spot.
With the 17-foot ceilings and room to treat a variety of patients, Dr. Latimer says scrubbing the old stains from the floors was well worth it. As work continues on the location, he says it's all about bringing comfort to the intense rehab his patients undergo.
So my whole premise was take a spa environment, add the very serious rehab, and give people an enjoyable way to get better over time. So we did that. The colors are cooler, the carpets are warmer. Everything's kind of designed to make you feel comfortable when you walk in so that your healing process can take place without distraction.
When it comes to chiropractic care, Dr. Latimer says there's a lot of preconceived notions with the experience, but at Integrative Rehab, they've expanded their fleet of equipment to match a diversity of patient needs.
We pretty much utilize all the latest advancements in protocols for sports medicine applications. So when I developed this clinic, everybody walks into their chiropractic office and they expect the same equipment. You get a specialized table with a little bit of ability to do some drop work where the table moves. And so we have that. And then we expanded to some therapy tables where we can do some stretching and some soft tissue work. Then we expanded to massage tables that go up and down so the therapists don't have to hurt their back while they're working on you. We were able to add the rehab equipment, so everybody does 8 minutes of a warm-up, get your body core temperature up so that as we work on you, all the healing factors in the blood are already liberated and your body responds better. We were able to add jacuzzis for foot and ankle sprains, plantar fasciitis. We do a lot of post-surgical stuff as far as tissue stripping, muscle trigger point work, joint activation, mobilization so that you have better range of motion, more stability. We have a specialized traction unit. As far as I know, it's the only one in the valley, but you walk on a treadmill, you put on a mountain climbing vest, and then we have a pneumatic pump that pulls up while your body weight, your hips pull down. So you have the natural cross crawl activation in that low back instead of the static pull, pump, pull, pump that can irritate. This is a nice, like I say, it's just the cross crawl action where your body's already in that natural form. And so you take a little pressure off, you're about 10 minutes and you bring it down. So we take about 35 pounds off a person as they're walking, and they always know the difference when it comes back on. So.
With his education comes vital experience in the field. Dr. Latimer was invited to work with the WNBA players during a minicamp in Vancouver and has worked with NBA, NFL, and professional baseball players throughout his career. He says this has played a very important role in developing his practice.
And it was a real good experience to see how dynamic these guys are, how their nervous systems are a little different, just their whole body composition. When you take care of yourself, you can really maximize your genetic potential. And so when people do that, it's something that I'm trying to get everybody in this valley to recognize. And there's a lot of great places to work out as well. So everybody has a genetic potential. Everybody is either, you can talk about professional athletes, you can talk about college athletes, you can talk about Division I athletes, you can talk about high school athletes. But the other half of the coin is everybody out there is an industrial athlete of some degree, whether they're drivers in trucks or they have to get out and lift a bunch of heavy stuff, or they're a nurse at the hospital. It doesn't matter. Whatever their activity is, their occupational activity, they're doing it over and over and over again. They will get better at it, but as their body ages, they can also begin to break down. So you need to be able to work against and prepare for that as well. So that's one of the things we do in our gym.
From acupuncture and massage to exercises and classic chiropractic care, Dr. Latimer uses his dynamic background to address injuries head-on and get his patients into the healing and strengthening process. At the end of the day, he says combination care could be the key to getting your body back to its greatest potential.
A lot of people go to chiropractors. A lot of people go to physical therapists. A lot of people go to their medical doc. People go to their massage therapist. A lot of people go to their acupuncturist. But when you have a real episode going on, whether it's an auto accident, work injury, bend, twist, slip, fall, whatever's causing you that pain, a lot of people just wake up with a stiff neck in the morning. But when you get the combination care, that stuff goes away so much faster. You just feel a lot more invigorated. Your body has so much more sensory input from different areas and levels that you just respond quicker. So when people figure that out, the single phase medicine approach, I think, is already kind of under scrutiny, but the combination care, all the studies show that either chiropractic and conservative physical therapy or rehab combined is much more effective than either separately. People are stunned when they come in and they say, well, I've been to my chiropractor, I've been to my physical therapist, things aren't really going. Just after 1 or 2 sessions, they're going, holy cow, this is amazing good stuff. So yeah, we enjoy that response. That's the thing that we strive for. That brings us the joy of yeah, we're doing it right.
Thanks for watching the NCWLIFE channel Spotlight on Business. Today we're going to learn all about GreenMotion E-bikes with Aaron and Kelly here in downtown Wenatchee. If you haven't tried an e-bike, you really need to try one. It's today on the Spotlight on Business on the NCWLIFE channel.
GreenMotion E-bikes is a new downtown business venture on the corner of Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue, owned and operated by business partners Aaron Woodhead and Kelly DeLong. The shop features a variety of e-bikes in stock as well as accessories. Aaron got into e-bikes after a small fender bender and hasn't turned back since.
He crashed his car.
I didn't crash it. My father actually broke his hip and was in a rehab center over in Seattle off Queen Anne with a really crazy, coming off a busy road, turning up this windy driveway with ambulances and stuff coming in and out. And the very last time after going over there to visit him for 2 months to get him into assisted living, the last time I was leaving, wouldn't you know it, I scraped the side of my car against the big plate that they had on one of the ambulances. So anyways, my car was going to be in the shop for a few weeks, and I knew I needed a way to get to work. I didn't want to do a rental. So I was just like, boy, I've seen these the e-bikes over in Seattle, the rideshare ones, and I used one a couple of times. Was never that thrilled with them, but I figured what the heck could get me to work and back. So then I started looking them up and realized they had those are class 1 e-bikes. They actually have class 2 e-bikes that will do 20 miles an hour with a throttle or pedal assist. So I was like, how the heck did I never know about this? You know, like you can actually just cruise around, you know, like a little electric scooter. And so I got my first e-bike, and to my surprise, it wasn't the motorcycle electric scooter part that really enthralled me. It was the biking part. It was that pedal assist that makes you feel like Superman. I tell people, if you put on a pair of bionic legs and could go down to the high school track and beat the high school kids on it, wouldn't that motivate you to start running a lot? Because you would just feel so good about it. And that's the way I felt getting back on bikes. You know, I felt like it changed my whole life. I put over 500 miles on it in the first couple months, lost 25 pounds, and then I got one for her, and she had the same reaction pretty much.
I absolutely love mine. Yeah, I've got the one with the basket. I think it's in the background somewhere there, but I started using it just going back and forth to work, and I live, you know, up there on Western Street, and I saved a lot of gas even just the first month, and I just, any excuse to get back on it, so it was really fun.
Kelly and Aaron say it's a myth that you don't get a decent workout on electric bikes.
Because the statistics have shown that if you're doing an hour ride on a regular bike or an e-bike, you're going to burn about the same amount of calories. Now, how's that going to work? The fact is, the difference is you would be doing 7-8 miles an hour, struggling, not having a lot of fun if you were doing it yourself, and probably wouldn't go for an hour. But on that e-bike, instead of doing 7 or 8 miles an hour, you're doing 20 miles an hour. You're having a great time, and you're hauling around that, you know, the entire loop trail, passing other guys on bikes. So that's what really makes a difference, is you're doing the same amount of work, but you're getting way more fun. You're getting I consider if you're on the highest level of pedal assist, it's doing about 2/3 of the work. So if I do a 21-mile ride out to Monitor and back, I've done a 7-mile ride myself, but I'm getting 20 miles worth of fun out of it, you know? So it's a much better trade-off for the energy you're putting in for how much fun you get, and that's the part that motivates you, that's the part that keeps you going. They actually said that up to 75% of all e-bike owners have used them within the last week, is only about 20% of traditional bike riders say they've used them in the last week. So they get put in the garage and sit there where e-bikes are actually getting used when people buy them, you know. People are just seeing it's not just a different type of biking, it is actually expanding, I think, what biking can be, those long 20-mile trips and things you can start doing. It becomes an adventure, you know.
The electric bikes vary in their specs, but on average, the batteries on these bikes can take you about 22 to 25 miles on full electricity. By pedaling, a rider can extend the range closer to 30 miles. Between local trails and Wenatchee's expanding infrastructure to accommodate the bicycling community, there are plenty of opportunities to hit the road with an e-bike.
Well, Wenatchee is an ideal place for bicycling. We've already said with the infrastructure and the bike lanes, and Wenatchee tends to be a very outdoor recreation kind of community. And so we felt like this was one thing that maybe we could fill a void with. And even commuting too. A lot of people are looking for a commuter bike, and you can get to work and not be completely covered in sweat and exhausted when you walk into the office. And it does make it so much easier to commute to work because, like I said, the infrastructure, the trails, the bike lanes, the town's been really encouraging.
E-bikes, class 1 and class 2s are regulated in the state of Washington exactly the same as a bicycle. They are not motorized vehicles. So although it says no motorized vehicles on there, don't worry about it because e-bikes are not motorized vehicles, they are bicycles, and that is by law. So I know that causes confusion with some people, but this is one of the fantastic things right now. This is a great time for being a biker, and especially for an e-biker, because the laws have all changed. In the 70s, the impetus was all put on bikers. We had helmet laws. You couldn't ride on the sidewalks. You had to own the lane. You had to use left turn lanes, which a lot of times the left turn signals wouldn't register a bike, and you're trapped out there. So it was really difficult to be a biker. They made it intentionally difficult. They felt like the roads were for cars, the sidewalks are for people. There was no place for bikers then. Everything has changed now, especially since 2018, the federal law laws have come in, and they've set the standards for all of the Class 1, Class 2, Class 3 e-bikes. And so now you can actually not only ride on the roads, of course, and you can own the lane. There's a 3-foot law that cars have to give you a 3-foot grace when passing you, but you can actually ride on the sidewalk. A lot of people don't know that, but it is legal to ride a bike on the sidewalk. You need to yield for pedestrians the same way cars have to yield for you when you're in the road, you know. But other than that, I'm on Western Avenue or Mission at 5 o'clock, and you've got 5 streets of backed up traffic at lights, not a person on the sidewalk. I hop up on the sidewalk and pass all the traffic right by, and I just like the fact that it gets you outside. People don't realize when you go from in your house to in your car to in Starbucks to in your car to in your house, you really haven't been outside. You feel like you're going places. That bike, you're outside, you're feeling the elements, you know, maybe you're arguing with the car going by, what, you know, but it's all part of life, and I really felt like it boosted my hormones, my adrenaline levels. It just kind of almost changed my life. I feel like there's only a few purchases you make in your life that really change your life, and for me, an e-bike was one of those.
Kelly and Aaron say their customer base is pretty broad so far because of the wide variety of use you can get out of an electric bike.
You know, we've seen all kinds of people coming through the doors, young families, teenagers, people over 40, elderly people. It's just really kind of run the gamut of everyone's been kind of interested in them. It's just been more finding what style they like the most. We find out people, you know, whether they're wanting it for like, you know, trails or whether it's a commuter or something just kind of more showy, like the motorcycles. It is just a very different crowd of folks. Everybody pretty much seems interested in these.
We really had people we didn't even expect. I think we expected bikers, of course, and people wanting to get back into biking, but I didn't expect the number of hunters we've had in who want to replace the little ATVs or the dirt bikes they take out, which of course make noise. And so by the time they get to their little blind or whatever, they've already scared all the animals within a big range. So they're really seeing the potential of these e-bikes coming up. They can come right up behind the deer and jump him, you know. So that was one that surprised me. A motorcycle enthusiast, older motorcycle enthusiast. My wife made me give up the motorcycle, but I think I could get her to let me ride one of these, you know. And it's like, heck yeah, because she can ride right alongside you. And not only that, you know, I've had them mention like, oh, I'm just downgrading a little bit. And I'm like, don't even look at it as a downgrade, because the fact is you're going to be able to do things you couldn't even do on your motorcycle, like taking the loop trail. It's beautiful out there, you know. So that's going to be a nice trade-off, you know. And yeah, people are excited about it, being able to get back on the road again, having a throttle, you know. And there's just so much safer than a motorcycle. That's the main thing. Yeah.
From small portable e-bikes to fat tires, traditional street bikes, and bikes with a battery integrated inside the bike, there's something to accommodate any type of rider. Kelly and Aaron say it took them no time at all to adjust to riding an e-bike. The best part about their business? Helping bring people back to the bike.
I love seeing the smile on people's faces when they go out the door, especially when they you know, come in 3 or 4 times, they can't decide, they finally get the bike they want, they get the seat, everything arranged just how they want it, and just how excited they are to get on that bike, especially for people who hadn't been on a bike in 20 years. Mm-hmm. That's the coolest thing, because they're excited to do it, they're going to love it, and I know how much it's going to bring to their lives, so that's been really fun.
Mm-hmm. For me, the excitement really is to give people an opportunity to do something they loved when they were kids. There's not many things, whether it's dancing or running, once you get to a point in your life when you can no longer do that, you know, it's pretty much over. And now with e-bikes, it has brought back that opportunity to a whole new generation, an old generation, basically coming back to something they love. And like she said, seeing that thrill and that twinkle in people's eyes when they get back on that bike and feel that same excitement they had when they were a 13-year-old kid, it is just, yeah, exhilarating. So I love it, you know.
Hi, I'm Eric Granstrom. Welcome to another edition of Spotlight on Business on the NCWLIFE channel. About 10 years ago, the Garvins retired from Boeing and moved here to Manson to start a winery. We're going to find out more about Tipsy Canyon Winery today on Spotlight on Business. Let's go meet Mark and Tammy.
Tammy and Mark Garvin knew they'd retire in Lake Chelan and began pouring wine at Rio Vista and learning more about the industry. The couple learned even more when they took a stab at making their own wine with the help of John Little Sr.
He said, well, Mark, if you want to learn a little bit about wines, why don't you get a few pounds of grapes in a barrel and I'll help you crush them. And so our first year we did 400 pounds of grapes and we made 30 gallons of wine and ended up selling to a few friends.
Yeah, they were happy.
Yeah, and then the next year we made 3 little barrels, and then we made 5 little barrels the year after that. So, how many years ago?
10.
Yeah, well, 5 years ago we went for it. We decided to do a winery, and This year, Tammy and I crushed 70,000 pounds of grapes. So we went from 400 pounds 10 years ago to 70,000 pounds this year. So it's something that just we fell in love with during the process.
The couple both worked at Boeing for more than 30 years and brought their tenacity and go-get-it attitude to winemaking. With the help of other wineries in the community, they jumped right in.
I think once you get into it, two things. One, the barrier to entry is not dramatically overwhelming because wine's been being made for 8,000 years. And certainly wine now today is the best quality it's ever been because of the science involved. When we first started pouring to the public for real, I didn't want to be in the tasting room.
He would hide.
Because I was going, my wine, I don't know, they're not going to like it. And Tammy would say, no, it's fine, Mark, it's fine, people are going to love it. And so once I got over that, I actually really enjoy interacting with our customers because that's what makes it fun. It's a very personal thing. We're a boutique winery, and if we were a big, huge winery, our effort would be in marketing. What does it look like on a shelf, that kind of thing. But at a boutique winery, our efforts go into creating an experience. And the experience is not only the wine, but it's the ambiance and the music and the setting and the service, other amenities, food, all that comes with the experience. And so it's pretty easy when we have a setting like we have in a place in the valley here to create that experience. And so the feedback from the customers keeps us going.
After researching and checking out local properties for their tasting room, the Garbins landed on a property with a beautiful view.
So I think the first thing that people notice when they walk in the door is the panoramic views of the mountains, the lakes, the territorial orchards, and other vineyards. So that's the first thing that they notice when they walk in. The front of the tasting room is all windows. And we get all kinds of weather through here, so it's different every day. Our tasting room is fairly large on purpose because we know how busy it gets in the summertime, and the last thing we want is someone to walk in the door and not be able to find a place to sit or enjoy their wine. So the tasting room is large, but I think the most popular place is where we're sitting right now. Big, huge covered patio with comfortable chairs. In the wintertime, we have heaters and a fireplace. But we also have lots of lawn seating and tables on the patio. So you can sit outside in the sunshine and have a bottle of rosé and talk about your week with your friends. So I think that's what people notice the most. We tried to make it really comfortable, kind of like an extension of our living room. And so when people come in, they find their little spot that they like to go to, and they just relax and have a good time and chat with friends or play games or we have had people come and bring their laptop and just work. So there's a little bit of something for everybody here.
At Tipsy Canyon, you'll find plenty of red and white wines made with grapes from vineyards around the valley, as well as beer and other beverages for those who might want to pass on a glass. Let's talk about their name, though. Tipsy Canyon?
We were getting ready to bottle that very first little barrel of wine that was in our basement, and we hadn't really come up with anything clever to call ourselves. We needed to put a label on the bottle. Driving along the river up to Chelan, we saw a for sale sign on the side of the road that said Tipsy Canyon Orchard for sale. And I told Mark, I said, God, that would make a way better name for a winery than an orchard. So we put that on our first label. When we got our winery license in 2014, we told family and friends, we're not sure. Maybe, we should do something more professional or serious or something like that. Less whimsical, and they wouldn't hear it. They said, no, you guys are Tipsy Canyon, so we're Tipsy Canyon. We find that the name is catchy, memorable, and hopefully interesting enough to people. They'll come out and check us out.
At Tipsy Canyon, they pride themselves on being a full winery experience. At Lake Chelan, that's a reflection of Tammy and Mark's personality. At the end of the day, Tammy says it's the happy customers that make it all worth it.
You know, when I think about customers after they've been here and they're leaving, we get comments like, I love this place. This is my new favorite winery. I love this place. We had such a great time here. To me, that's success.